Good morning, you beautiful people. Welcome to YouTube. My name is Dane LeBlanc. You guys know me. If you don't, welcome. And if you guys caught my last video, introduced you guys to my new when I bought it, 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. And if you guys haven't caught that initial review, I will link that below. But because this is YouTube and YouTube loves lists, let's go through the 8 things I hate about this car. Truck, SUV. So first things first, I had to just dig deep in the bowels to find 8 things that I really disliked about it. Most of these are, we'll call them a nuisance at worst. Overall, I love this Jeep. I've had a great ownership experience so far, and I really have very few actual complaints about it. But I do have a couple little things that I've noticed in the year and a bit that I've owned it that have kind of gotten under my skin a little bit, so we'll dive into them now. So, first things first, and I kind of touched on this on the review, is the engine noise this Jeep makes. Jeep is moving up market. That's what they're trying to do, right? That's the only way you can explain, you know, a $60,000, $70,000 plus price tag on some of these. If you're gonna do that, you need to spend money everywhere. Jeep did a great job with the interior and the touch points and making this thing feel like a quality product. But then they stuck the same 3.5 liter V6 that they've had since 20, God knows when, up here, and it's kind of going through a school zone. Probably shouldn't accelerate too hard. It has that kind of truck mechanical noise, and you hear it inside the cabin, and especially from the outside, you hear the fuel injectors kind of clattering away. It's again, great engine, pulls fine, tow's great, it all works. But you hear it maybe a little more than you would expect from, you know, a product like this. Number 2, this dial shifter situation. I've gotten used to it. Honestly, I don't hate it. But there have been a couple situations where it's mostly if you're, you know, pulling into somewhere and backing in, maybe at a mall or somewhere where there's cars behind you and you kind of have to do it quick. You pull in and you go to throw it in reverse and then you throw it into park. A little embarrassing. Don't love that. Apart from those unique situations, it's fine. Again, not the biggest deal. It looks really good over here, so I'm, you know, I said I love a good aesthetic, so not a big complaint. But you got to be careful. You can't do anything quickly with it. Number 3, sticking with the shifter and the interior in general, I despise piano black. I keep my stuff relatively clean. I don't keep a bunch of junk in the car. I vacuum it every week. I keep this car clean. And I made sure to not clean it to show you what this piano black situation looks like. One, it's scratched to absolute hell. I don't have keys and purses, and I don't throw crap everywhere. So I'm not sure exactly how, but it's got swirl marks just all the way, just straight down into the bone. And it collects dust like nobody's business. It is actually a magnet. I believe piano black is a magnet for dust. And that's annoying almost all of the time. I don't know what material I wanted there. It looks great and it looked fantastic when it was brand new. But now, after 20,000 miles and a little wear and tear, every time I get in, it's just something that I'm always constantly trying to clean because it just can't. And I know they are kits that they make for this, and if you have a Jeep and you're looking into this, there are pre-cut like PPF kits that you can get for these to kind of protect them and keep them from getting scratched up like I did not do. So if you are looking into one of these, I would definitely recommend buying one of those as soon as you buy the car. Get it put on, that way you don't have to deal with it. So I'm going to lump 4 and 5 together as we talk about the adaptive cruise and the lane keep assist, because both of them are actively trying to kill you. I feel like people say this about a lot of these driver aids. This one's not bad all the time, but it's not good all the time either. I guess we'll start with the lane keep first. It doesn't do merges. It doesn't like exit ramps. It doesn't like entrance ramps. If you are trying to, you know, take like a big like overpass exit and you know, that lane splits, it does not want that lane to split, and it tries to fight you and keep you in the lane that you're in. So that's not fun all of the time. And then little things like construction, and as you're trying to drive, if there's barricades up, you know, you'll just be in the middle of the lane, all of a sudden it'll just jerk you over and like towards the barricade, and you're like, well, can you not do that? So I find myself turning the lane keep assist off a lot. Sometimes it works fine. Most of the time, to be fair, it works fine. But there have been, you know, more than one, you know, kind of scenarios where it's done something that I really, really disliked and have caused me to want to turn it off. Same thing with the adaptive cruise. So the adaptive cruise does a couple things that I don't love. One, it doesn't like going all the way down to 0. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will go all the way down to 0, but then it won't accelerate again. You actually have to kind of tap the gas to accelerate again. But other times it will go down to 0 and then it will accelerate again. So I'm not 100% sure what the math behind that is. Also, it likes to keep you on your toes by way of late braking. You can kind of set, you know, the distance for how far you want to follow, obviously, the car in front of you. And regardless of the distance, if anybody comes to, you know, a stop any slower than, you know, I guess normal, or any quicker than normal, it's very late to just continue its, you know, 75 miles an hour and then absolutely plant your face into the steering wheel. So that is annoying too. And the adaptive cruise really is something I don't use very often. Really, the only time I ever really use the adaptive cruise is if I'm on a road trip or a freeway there really isn't a lot of cars and I don't have to worry about it. Maybe there's one car in front of me and I'm kind of been pacing him for a couple hours. That's, you know, it works well in that scenario. But if there's any modicum of real traffic downtown, or, you know, it's not something I would ever recommend using. Kind of going along with the adaptive cruise and the emergency braking and stuff. The brakes on this are very, very good. Very good brakes. The suspension is a little too soft for how good these brakes are, and you get some wicked bucking. And I guess when I mean bucking, I mean just a ton of nosedive when you hit the brakes, you know, any harder than just a very light, gentle touch. It kind of kicks you forward. And it kicks anybody else who's in the car with you forward. And if you're marrying the person that I am marrying, she screams and yells at you every time. It's not my fault, it's the car. But I noticed when she drives it too, this thing has the brakes on it are touchy. That part you get used to, but the part you don't get used to, and even still, I've had this car for over a year. You know, this thing will nosedive a lot more, you know, kind of than I, you know, want it to. So, again, not a huge concern. The brakes work really good, so I'm not bitching about that, but, you know. Number 7, and this isn't a complaint of the Jeep itself. This is a complaint of kind of all new cars right now. I love CarPlay. CarPlay is fantastic. Why haven't they moved CarPlay into the gauge cluster yet? Like, give me Apple Maps, give me Spotify, give me all of my over here. That would be awesome. Again, this isn't less of a complaint of the Jeep, but I feel like it's 2023. We know how to do that. Let's just do that. That would be cool. And finally, ESPN 8, the Ocho, my last one, really isn't my biggest complaint. It is a complaint of my fiance, who was supposed to have a cameo in this video today, but she wasn't. She feels as though the screen, and I get where she's coming from, because most cars these days, you know, all things are angled towards the driver. The screen's a little far away and it's a little flat facing. She thinks it should be angled towards the driver a little bit. I am inclined to agree with her. So, again, not something that I maybe would have ever noticed. But she noticed it, and so she wanted me to point it out. So this is me pointing it out. So, babe, love you. Jeep, tilt the screen. You know, just make my fiance happy. Just a couple degrees. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Like I said, this is very, you know, a couple things on here were real. I'll give it that. But overall, love this Jeep. It's been a great experience so far. And I imagine the next video we make will be the 8 things that I love about it. But the 8 things that I hate about it, you guys tend to like more. So, so screw this Jeep and everything about it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.